So, BeamNG added a school bus with the most recent update, and as someone who drives a school bus for their job, I thought I'd go over it and give it a once over, look at all of the things on it, what things they got right, things that they're missing, and obviously they didn't really get anything wrong as far as I can tell. It's just that there's some things that are missing and I could understand why. So the button there for the doors. If this were a real bus, there would be a lever either here or because of the way that the dash is in this one, it would be on top. For some buses, this dashboard kind of comes out, so like a mirror of that one, and then on the side there's a switch. What that does is it lets all the air out of the pneumatic that pushes the doors open. So in emergency, if the electrics stop working, so this gets disconnected, then it still works, or like it just makes it so you can push the door open in an emergency. This isn't scripted, obviously. I'm just rambling incoherently about school buses. Okay, something that is pretty common for buses to have, at least like I haven't seen any without it, and it looks like this one has speakers modeled in, is a way for like an intercom for the radio there, as well as something to actually play the radio. This is not the intercom radio. This is a completely separate radio. On all the buses that I've seen, they've either had the called the entertainment radio, the one attached to the speakers, either on the side here or up mounted on a box here. Okay, my mouse is being captured. The radio that actually picks up the radio broadcasts and plays the speakers is the one that the intercom the driver uses is attached to. This one is just a regular kind of CB style radio, usually used to talk to other bus drivers and like district dispatch and everything. So they have this done pretty well. I mean, again, the windy coils, those are fun. And while we're right here, going to go to the switch panel. Now, from the top down, personally, I haven't ever seen them all labeled as pilot. Usually for the lights, and like they have a thing up here that we can use to show you which lights are on, so I don't have to be like actually going out every time. Also, where is the hazards switch? I don't see a hazards switch. It's not on top of the stock. Okay. Anyways, usually instead of you're gonna have master, amber would make sense, but usually they're marked as W/L for like warning or waiting and loading lights. They have the master switch set up, which is good. The amber is what you push to start the lights on top, and you'll notice if you press the amber, nothing happens. You have to have the master switch on first, and then the amber lights will go on. Those are the 8 ways, they call them 8 ways, or loading lights, because they're 8 lights total, and then they call the regular hazard lights the 4 ways. At least they do over here. So once those are on, those go up into position, and once the door opens, you see the stop sign goes out to the side, and this arm goes out front. That's to make sure that the little ones don't run right across the front of the bumper, even though they have these crossover mirrors that when you're driving you can literally see, like this one isn't picking it up, but you can literally see the entire front bumper of the vehicle in both of them. So there aren't blind spots, but some drivers just don't pay attention, and they do everything they can to make sure that there's no spaces for kids to hide in. Close the door, those go in. Actually, I need to do that again. and they got that thing right. You'll notice that I didn't hit the amber switch that time, like if I close the door again. So even if the amber lights are on, with the master switch on, whenever the doors are open, those stop flares are going to come out. And what it should do is when you take out the master switch, these should shut off. That's kind of the first little nitpicky thing, aside from not having an emergency door release. This one runs on pneumatics. The electric ones, some newer ones have doors that are run by like a motor. Those ones, they just, when the bus turns off, they automatically disengage. But yeah, these should be disabled when you turn off the master switch. It's kind of the first thing that sticks out. Like, that's the whole point of the master switch, is it's the master switch for the entire thing. Emergency exit. Now, I wonder if this one works with these side doors, or side windows. And it does! Usually that would be accompanied with a buzzer as well. For the rear door, there's usually a buzzer right next to it. Even the ones that have the engine in the back, they'll have an emergency window on top of the engine cover so that you can still get out through the back of it. But yeah, usually the windows and the back door have a buzzer attached to them. Let's see, what else is there? Heater. This has switches for heaters. I don't know what the US heater is. Usually they have rear heaters and front heaters. I mean, it has the fan. It's not nearly squeaky enough. And these dials work as well. You'll notice there is no cooling. That is common with buses. You either get heat or you get the fans blowing heat or the fans blowing air. You don't get air conditioning. And if we go down here, if the bus did have heaters modeled, they would be underneath the seats here. At least on every single bus that I've driven. What they do for the heater is they have a coolant line that runs from the engine bay, and it goes through. They have little side tunnels here that stick out a little bit, and every few seats they lead out into a box. It has a set of fans on it, and they just use it as a radiator, which is, you'll notice that there is a switch that says heater pump. That specifically runs the pump for the coolant all the time, so that it circulates the coolant faster. So in winter it warms up faster. But I find it odd that they have that and nothing that I can see modeled as heaters. Again, it makes sense. I'm probably one of the only people that's going to go down here and look on the underside of the bus seats to see if it has the boxes with fans on them. But it's just another thing. Student mirror is good. That's in the proper position. There's also this. Now, again, I understand why they don't have the little things modeled. There would be either little like thumb screws or latches that you can pop open. And this would fold up over the top. You'll have, again, it's like I said, it's first aid kit, the body fluid kit, which is, you know, you have a bunch of kids on the bus. There are going to be things that happen. And then warning device. I'm pretty sure that's in reference to, they call them emergency triangles. They're the little fold-out triangles. Every commercial vehicle has to have 3 of them, and if you're in an accident, you have to put them out in a diagonal behind the vehicle. So if you ever see a truck on the side of the road, and they have the triangles all kind of close in a straight line, they're doing it wrong, and you can point and laugh at them now. We have the lights all the way down the sides, I think. Hang on. What does this one do? Is that the rear light then? But yeah, that's okay. That's the rear light. The order of these is shuffled based on what make you're driving, so it gets confusing sometimes. This is just the switch for the regular lights. It's just a 3-step toggle. If there were hazards, there's usually either a little nub here you can pull out, a metal stem here that you pull out, and then when you use the turn indicator it cancels, or a little button mounted on the top like some old I say some old. I know my Suzuki had the same thing as that. The only other thing that I noticed, actually there's a little tiny thing with this. When these are open, you unlatch it. At least for our district, they told us to never do this unless we needed to, because only the mechanics could go up to get them reattached, and if it's open all the way, you're not allowed to drive the bus, so they don't want you to do that. Otherwise, they will get very annoyed at you. The only other thing is with the emergency exit. If we open it, you can see this bar going across the top. And they have, again, they have it modeled pretty well. The only thing is, it is missing what is called a hold open device. Let me just get the bus and run it over so I can put my character in front of the door. Also, there should be a buzzer for the emergency exit. But this, inside of this, on every emergency door, there's a little rotating device. Kind of works like a click pen. Once it opens all the way, it'll go back and catch on the latch, and then you have to open it, you have to push it open all the way again, and then that'll let you close it, so that if it's at an angle and something happens to the bus, or like the emergency exit, it'll hold itself open. This doesn't have that. Again, I understand why they didn't include it. It's just another little thing. They have the bins correct, they have the battery tray correct, they even have the massive size of the batteries. And in the very back, you can see the little cable clips that hold it in place. And they go all the way up to the front here. Actually, no, those aren't cables. Those are just regular battery tie-downs. They're just super long. Actually, are those look like wing nuts? Yeah, wing nuts. So if you needed to take out the battery tray, you'd have to undo both of those, take off that top latch, and then this whole thing would slide out. And you could replace these two massive battery. Oh, they have the cables modeled too. But yeah, come on, close. The MD-70 school bus, pretty good job. Only a bunch of minor things to point at. This has just been incoherent rambling. Yeah.